guys, my name is Alicia, and if you don't know who I am, I sell vintage clothing on the apps Depop and Poshmark, along with my Instagram shop, and as somewhat of a kind of vintage expert myself, I thought it'd be really fun if today we tried out Urban Outfitters vintage line. So if you didn't know, Urban Outfitters actually has a line called Urban Renewal, where basically they source and rework vintage or like secondhand items, which I personally have mixed feelings about, but I'll get into that. So I thought it'd be really fun to kind of pick out a few pieces, try them on, test them out, and I guess kind of compare the quality of purchasing vintage from Urban Outfitters compared to like an actual vintage seller. One of the first things I did want to point out though is that clearly vintage and thrifting has become very, very popular the last few years. So much so that these mega corporations like Urban Outfitters and like H&M and various other brands have started selling vintage or secondhand items on their own sites. So I feel like that really just goes to show that the secondhand clothing industry is definitely growing, and clearly there's value in it if these big companies, you know, want a piece of the pie. So with that being said, let's hop on to the Urban Outfitters website and check out what Urban Renewal has to offer. Okay, so I went straight to the Urban Renewal section. It says for men and women, and there's 281 products, which is actually a lot more than expected. So right away, I'm kind of seeing more reworked items like this linen smocked tube top and these seamed pull-on pants, which are really cool. And honestly, I do appreciate to a certain extent because, to be honest, actually like reworking and recycling clothing like that on a large scale is very difficult for small businesses. So I do actually kind of appreciate that. But where it does get kind of iffy is like the shorts, for example. So right here, you can see these are the Urban Renewal recycled Levi's Bermuda denim short. And these are the kinds of items that weren't reworked. Maybe they were cut from pants into shorts, maybe. But let's be honest, this is just basically Urban Outfitters straight up like reselling. But there's a couple things that really get me on these shorts. For one, the price. These shorts are $80 Canadian, which is super, super expensive. Second of all, what's really interesting, it says each one is unique. So I feel like that is such a gamble because anything from the wash to the fit, any small variation like that is kind of going to drastically change the style of the shorts. And the fact that you can't look at each one individually is honestly kind of a big risk when you're buying these. Like, you really don't know what you're going to end up with. And the third thing is the sizing. So they size everything just by extra small, small, medium, large, and extra large. Now, if you've ever tried on jeans before, you know that sizing is pretty specific. And you know, jumping from a small to a medium is quite a drastic change. So let's just take a look at their size guide and see what it has to say. So for example, personally, my true waist size is size 29 inch. And according to that, I would be a size medium, which is 28 to 29. But then size large is 31 to 33. So if you're a size 30, it's kind of like a gamble. Like, which one do you go for? You can almost guarantee that these pants are either going to be a little too tight or a little too loose. Like, it's going to be really hard to actually get the sizing right. So I definitely want to pick up a pair of shorts just to experiment with the sizing and all that. These are unfortunately out in a size medium, which is, I think, is what I'm gonna end up getting. So let's move on and see what else we can find. Okay, I want to try like a mix of things. I think I'm gonna get at least one reworked item, then a couple of vintage items. Okay, these shorts really intrigue me. They're really cute. They are obviously like a recycled kind of one, and each one's unique. So I think these would be really interesting to see which ones end up showing up. Oh, this one's so interesting too. There's only small/medium or medium/large. The size range is even more crazy. This one's really interesting too. Each one's unique, so you really have no idea what graphic is gonna show up at your door. I'm gonna add it to the bag for now. Okay, like I said, I really want to pick up a pair of like denim shorts, so these seem to be like a pretty good option. It just says Urban Renewal recycled low-rise slouchy denim shorts, so it doesn't even say the brand, so it's not even like guaranteed Levi's. I think I'm gonna go with the like super light wash on this one. We're gonna do medium once again. Add that to the bag. The shorteralls are really cute. Honestly, not too bad of a price considering. Once again though, each one's unique. You don't know what you're gonna get. That's quite the gamble. I feel like too, in the listing picture, they're gonna put like the coolest kind of like versions of the items that they have. I have a feeling the ones that they send you aren't gonna be as cool, you know what I mean? These are really cute, very similar to the other pull-on shorts that I added. Maybe I'll add these ones and then we can decide which ones we want later. Okay, yeah, like these Wrangler shorts, for example, you have these ones which are really unique. I've never seen like the black label before, but then you also have like the classic ones. So I'm guessing you're not gonna get the cool rare black ones. I'm gonna add the Wranglers to the bag because I think it'd be cool to compare a couple different kinds of shorts, you know? Okay, so this is what our cart is looking like so far. I kind of went through and decided which items I'm actually gonna get. So now we just have to wait a few weeks or however long it takes for everything to come in, and we're gonna see what actually ends up arriving. Very exciting. All right, guys, so it's been a few days and look what just arrived in the mail today. I never shop online, so this is very exciting for me. So it came in this giant bag here. Honestly, I was expecting the bag to be bigger, but it is quite heavy. So I think all 7 items are in here. I'm pretty sure I ordered 7. And I think we're basically, whatever I see on top first is just what I'm gonna pull out. Okay, so this is the very first thing I pulled out. It's the vintage high-waisted 90s denim shorts. And like right off the bat, it feels very light, like not like a vintage denim would, but I don't know. Let's open it and find out. Okay, so immediately, I hate to say this, but I'm disappointed. First impressions, right on the little button here, it does say LL Bean, which, you know, could be a vintage brand. I actually really like LL Bean, but like I said, this material is very thin. Like it definitely feels like a modern type of short. The tag does say made in Mexico, which sometimes can be vintage, but in this case, I honestly don't think it is. And it actually looks like here that Urban Outfitters went ahead and did their own hem. So these might have actually been pants at one point. You can tell just because it's a white stitching, whereas the rest of the garment has a yellow stitching. They could have matched that thread, but they didn't, just saying. And they look really short. Like, look how small that inseam is. Definitely do not look anything like the photos. They don't have any cute detail around the waistband. They're very, very plain. I think they are high-waisted like they said, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to try it on to really see the fit. And these were originally $50. So definitely disappointed considering they're $50, but let's go ahead and try them on and I'm gonna give you like my full impression of the fit and everything. Okay, so here's how the first pair of shorts fit. I have to say for fit, they fit me pretty dang perfectly. I cannot lie. Not too tight, not too loose. Honestly perfect. But that's about the only thing that they got right because the style of these are just nothing special at all. These are supposed to be like a cool 90s short. And from the examples, they either had a really intricate waistband or like some cool detailing or like a cuff or something, whereas these ones, as you can see, there is just nothing special about them. Even at the back, the pockets don't even have any stitching. Like I said before, the fabric is very thin, especially now like trying them on. And looking at the listing photo once again, they look like a more kind of loose fit around the legs, whereas these aren't really loose, they just kind of fit. And they're so much shorter. They're honestly so much shorter than the listing. And like I mentioned before, it was clear to me that Urban Outfitters like hemmed and sewed these themselves. I don't know, you guys tell me what you think, but I feel like this cuts on a really weird angle where the outside is longer than the inside. Typically, you tend to do the opposite when cutting shorts. You make the inside a little bit longer, just to have some more coverage, and then make it slightly shorter on the outside. So I feel like this is giving my body like a really weird shape. It doesn't look good. So honestly, 1 point for the fit, but literally 0 points for everything else. Okay, moving on, let's pull out the next item. Okay, right away, these already feel a little bit better. These are the shorteralls. So I'm actually very excited about these ones. Oh my god. Guys, I just started to pull this out and this is the first thing I see. I don't know if you can see this little tag here, but it says Doc Martens. I did not know that Doc Martens made clothing. Like, I'm kind of confused. Okay. What the heck? Okay, these are actually so sick. They're Doc Martens vintage overalls. This is so cool. I literally did not know that this existed. They've got the little Doc Marten tag here and on the back. How cool is that? And back here. And the inner tag says Doc Martens made in USA. So these are actually like truly, truly vintage. Okay, I have to say I am thoroughly impressed with these already. This is really, really cool. I would say they match the listing pretty well. They're the right color and they might honestly be even cooler than the original listing. Now, these did cost $80, which is quite pricey, I have to say, but these are really cool. Like, honestly, if I were to resell these, I probably could resell them for the same price because I've never seen Doc Marten anything, but Doc Marten shorteralls, like, honestly, So cool. These I picked up in a size small/medium. That was the only option besides like large and extra large. A lot of the reviews said they were a looser fit to order a size down, so that's kind of what I went with. Starting with fit, these ones I ordered in the small/medium, and once again I have to say they're pretty accurate. These honestly fit me pretty perfectly. Not too tight, but not too loose. I do think they're really cute. The quality of the denim is quite nice. It's definitely thicker. I love the front details here. It's a little bit loose on the leg, which is nice, but I don't know why this area right here looks so weird to me. I don't know, there's something going on here that's just not flattering. I do wish they were a little bit longer for the shorts, but I honestly can't complain. They're a pretty good length. And then this is just like a little side view. And then this is what the back looks like. I think overalls can be weird fitting on the back, but I think the back honestly looks pretty good on these. Let me try and loosen the straps and see if that helps. Okay, I loosened the straps a little bit, and honestly I feel like it just didn't really do anything for this situation here. I mean, it's not horrible, but if I tried these on before buying them, I definitely like wouldn't have bought them, you know what I mean? Overall, I have to say, I think I'm actually impressed with these ones. Okay, so pulling out our next item here, we're gonna switch it up and not do a denim. I believe this is the crew neck. Okay, right away it looks like there's some text on this sweater, so let's take a look. Okay, so a little bit disappointing. It just says Metro State on it. Definitely not as cool as the graphics featured in the listing. Like they actually had, you know, graphics on it, where this is just text. Definitely in the correct like gray sun-washed color like advertised, so that's actually pretty nice. And it looks like this was originally a JanSport sweater, just telling by this little tag on the sleeve. So for this one I actually paid $90, and in my opinion this is not worth $90. Even if it had a cool graphic on it, like that's one thing, but this sweater's just so plain, it's definitely not worth it. As for sizing, I got it in a men's medium/large, which does look pretty accurate. And what I find really interesting, and I actually noticed this in their like actual like locations, is that a lot of their vintage items they cut the tags out of. Like as you can see with this sweater, they cut it out, which like, you know, some people cut out the tags before they send them to the donation or whatever, but this is too much of a coincidence because I noticed like a lot of the tags were cut out. So honestly, I have a feeling it's so that you can't really tell if the item's vintage or not. You know what I mean? Even though this item doesn't say that it was a vintage sweater, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. But anyways, let's try this on and see how it looks. With it tried on now, I actually do really like the feel. It definitely feels like a vintage kind of sweatshirt material. It's very soft and cozy. I think the fit's very accurate. I was definitely going for like a more oversized fit. So yeah, not much to say about this one, but like I said before, the graphic is just kind of boring. Okay, next up, some more denim. It looks like these are the Urban Renewal recycled low-rise slouchy denim short. So as you can tell in the listing, it didn't say they were Levi's, even though it was like Levi's pictured on the model. And as you can see here, they did send me a pair of Levi's, which is good. Okay, so these are the shorts. My first impressions are that, yeah, the color's pretty accurate. It is like what was advertised on the site. We got the Levi's back patch, we got the little tab, so everything is intact. And as you can see, these are the low boot cut, so they are kind of like a lower rise style as advertised. So honestly, so far I feel like these are the most accurate from the website for sure. These originally cost $80. I did get them on sale for $55, but still, that's pretty expensive. But let's go ahead, try them on and see what we think. Okay, I have to say, so far I've been very impressed with the fit of all the pants. Like, I feel like everything has fit me perfectly so far, surprisingly. But that is coming from someone with like I said, size 29 waist. So if you are like a different size, it's obviously gonna fit you differently. But for these shorts, I think that they're honestly very, very accurate to the listing. Personally, I would say this is more of a mid-rise than a low-rise because it is like just touching my belly button. But I get what they're going for. It's definitely a lower rise. I do like how the pockets kind of stick out at the bottom. I think that's pretty cute. The material is definitely a little bit more on the thin side, not quite like a vintage denim, but I mean, they don't say that they're vintage, so that's fair. And then this is just what they look like from the side and the back. So yeah, honestly, can't really complain about these ones. They're pretty much as described. Do I still think they're overpriced? Yes. All right, next up, switching it up once again, we have this little package here. These are the Urban Renewal recycled Polo Ralph Lauren shorts. This is what they look like. Interesting choice with choosing like a completely different color. So this is actually the first Renewal item that I'm pulling out, meaning that this was like completely reconstructed from fabrics. And I have to say the construction's very well done. It was made with a serger, so like, you know, all the seams are good. I feel like all the shorts just look so much shorter in real life. I don't know if that's just me. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is totally a stain on these shorts. Like right here, it almost looks like a pen stain. Like it's faint, but it's definitely there. Oh yeah, you can see it. So far, not a great first impression, especially because these originally cost $64. So for $64, like I don't want my clothes to have stains on them. But let's go ahead, try them on and see what we think. Okay, so for these shorts, I ordered them in the size medium/large. The other option was small/medium, and I read that they ran small. And I'm very glad that I sized up because, I mean, they fit me pretty perfectly, but if I got the size small/medium like I did with other shorts, these definitely would have been too tight. But I mean, overall, they are quite comfortable, I have to say. As for fit, I think the fit is actually like resembles the photo a lot. Once again, I'm just gonna give like the full 360. I don't think they're the most flattering on me personally. And once again, they do have a stain. It's definitely not that noticeable when you're wearing it, but like it's a stain nonetheless. So that's a little disappointing. Otherwise, I would say the sizing is not great for these ones, but I feel like the overall style is pretty accurate to the photo. Okay, only a couple more items left, but the next thing we've got here are the Wrangler shorts. So these are the Urban Renewal recycled Wrangler cheeky denim short. And here they are. Okay, pretty much what I expected, that you were going to get kind of these Wranglers with, you know, the classic leather patch on the back. Once again, pretty short, but these are like in a cheeky style, so that is kind of what is expected. I have to say though, there are staining on these ones as well. Right on the side here, you can see it's very, very discolored. And even on the front here, you can see there's a pretty noticeable stain as well. So I get it, like vintage clothing usually isn't perfect, but these were originally $80. And for $80, they need to be in good condition. So once again, I'm gonna try them on and we're gonna see my final thoughts on them. Okay, so once again, these fit me pretty darn perfectly. I really was not expecting that going into this. So they're super comfortable, have a more of a snug fit, but I feel like Wranglers tend to do that. They're super short, but to be fair, that was how they looked in the photo. And then just to give like a full 360, this is what the back looks like, and I feel like it's an accurate description of like the cheeky style, but it's kind of nice that it still does like give full coverage at the back, you know what I mean? So honestly, these ones I feel like I would have given like a 10 out of 10 for accuracy, except for the fact that it has stains. Like I know it's not super noticeable, but it's definitely there, and down here, which is obviously disappointing. All right guys, so we are down to our final item, and this one's a bit of a surprise because I decided to add it to my cart later, right before I was checking out. But the last item we have here are the Urban Renewal vintage Levi's 501 jeans. So the reason in particular that I really wanted to pick up these jeans was because they had the word vintage right in the title. So, you know, the other items could kind of get away without being vintage, but this one, I wanted to do a true test to see if they're truly vintage. And not gonna lie, just by looking on the outside, I don't know, they don't look vintage to me. So here they are. So right away you can see they are the 501 style, in fact, so that's good at least. I chose this color vintage denim light, and honestly, these are more of a mid-wash in my opinion than a light wash. I don't really like this wash of jeans, to be honest, but let's take a look. Okay, so this is what they're looking like, and right away I can see there's a lot of damage. To be fair, in the listing photo, there was like literally pictures of like paint stains on one of them. So I kind of was expecting them to look like a little bit rough. And this is the front. Okay, we got a button fly, love that. And some more kind of distressing in the knee area. Honestly, if it was just distressing in the knee, I wouldn't mind, but like the back of the leg, it's a little bit weird, right? And then the back is quite distressed as well. There's also another really tiny hole on the butt. I also got these in a size medium. Let's do a little bit of inspecting to do the true test of whether these are vintage or not. So, surprise, surprise, the tag is completely missing, and I think we all know the reason why. I personally do not think these are actually truly vintage jeans. I mean, I know it's hard to tell these days because vintage is technically anything 20 years old, but I would not consider these vintage. I can even tell from the tag, it used to be that kind of like shinier sort of tag, and truly vintage Levi's have this kind of like paper textured tag. So very, very sneaky of Urban Outfitters to pull that. And guys, these jeans were originally $100. So $100 for Levi's that aren't even vintage, super distressed. I'm gonna be honest, I see this exact wash, this exact size all the time. There's nothing really rare or special about these. I'm gonna be completely honest. But let's try them on, give them a try, and I will let you know my final thoughts. Okay, so here are the 501 jeans. Once again, I have to say they fit me like pretty perfectly. I thought they were gonna be too big, to be honest, but they fit perfect. I have to say they are a little bit snug on the thigh, meaning that I can't quite pull them up like as high as I would want to. They have kind of like a baggier leg. These honestly feel more like Y2K jeans than vintage jeans. I know Y2K is technically vintage, but when you hear the word vintage, I expect more of like a high waist. I don't know, you know what I mean? As for the back, I really personally do not like how low the pockets sit on me. I just don't think it looks very flattering. I'm gonna give a full length view for you guys, one sec. Okay, so this is like the full length view so you can see the whole kind of fit of them. Definitely straight leg, baggy, mid-rise. Like I said, I don't mind, you know, the distressing on the knee. That's pretty normal, but this distressing on the back of the leg here is just in like such an awkward spot. I personally don't think it looks that great. And I'm gonna be honest, personally, I absolutely hate the fit of these. Plus the fact that they're not even truly vintage. I'm not impressed with these ones. Alright guys, so that is the entire Urban Outfitters Urban Renewal haul. And I just wanted to give my final thoughts about everything. I think overall, it was kind of more of a bad experience than a good experience. I think most of the items were kind of disappointing. I think my absolute least favorite item was probably the LL Bean shorts. They were just extremely disappointing. But I have to say I was thoroughly impressed with the Doc Martens shorteralls. I think these are really freaking cool. And honestly, these surprised me. These definitely surprised me because I was expecting, especially for shorteralls, finding cool ones, it's hard to find. So I am really impressed with those. And do I think that Urban Outfitters Urban Renewal is worth it? Definitely not. I think it's way overpriced, and it's such a gamble. You really have no idea what you're gonna get. The only one redeeming factor is the fact that you can return these things, but still, if you're looking for vintage or secondhand items, I think buying through like Depop or Poshmark or someone's like vintage Instagram shop is gonna be such a better experience than this. For one, it's going to be so much cheaper, so much cheaper. The items are probably going to be actually vintage, or at least like described properly. And if there are any stains or anything like that, you're definitely going to know about it before, and you'll probably get a discount. Not to mention the fact that most sellers do provide exact measurements on items, so you're going to know for sure whether it's going to fit you or not. So overall, I would not recommend supporting Urban Outfitters, even for their vintage line. I personally think it kind of is greenwashing and just kind of hopping on the secondhand clothing trend, because if they truly cared about the environment, then they would stop like mass producing their items or try to like make their actual Urban Outfitters line made from like recycled materials or that kind of thing, you know? But anyways, that video is still a ton of fun to make. Let me know what you guys thought below, and if you guys have ever purchased from Urban Outfitters Urban Renewal before, definitely let me know what your experience was in the comments. I'd love to know. And if you guys enjoyed this video, you should definitely stick around and subscribe because I make a new thrifting video every single week. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week.